Hello, hello. It is Sarah Waggle, astrologer and leadership coach here for this Moon Astrology Tarot for the moon in Capricorn. This is February 6th through the 8th, 2024. And moon in detriment, meaning like no emotion. It's kind of I always call it the get shit done moon. And of course, Mars is still here. And we're going to have a few aspects to the node. So remember, the North Node is in Aries, which is all about independence and interdependence. And then the South Node in Libra, which is about kind of, cutting ties and letting go of old relationships, old ways of being. That combined with not only the moon, but of course, like I said, Mars is here. Venus is going to aspect those nodes, as is the sun. And the sun's at its detriment as well. So, and this is a waning moon. We're heading into some like people not being emotional, which is both good and bad because, right, we need to experience emotions. We need to move emotions through our body, and, cry when we need to cry, be angry when we need to be angry. And I'm feeling it too. I'm frustrated with the fact that, people are so shut off from the idea of, spiritual and energetic work and whatnot. It frustrates me. It frustrates me that people would rather get a diagnosis and pop a pill than actually work with the energies, and their intuition and, their own energetic existence. But it's also like good that people won't be emotional, in that when you're emotional, it's difficult to make decisions. Like always recommend, always say, like, don't make decisions when you're emotional, because you'll usually make usually, not always, but I've often made wrong decisions, and I know other people have too, when they are highly emotional. So always wait till you've processed the emotion. If your boss pisses you off, like, don't quit on the spot. Like, that's kind of erratic and maybe not so responsible. And Capricorn is about responsibility. It is ruled by Saturn. And so, always like process through your emotions before making a decision on something. Try not to make a decision when you're sad or angry or whatever. Like, let the emotion process through and then clear-mindedly go into the thing. But since we have a moon in detriment and a sun in detriment, people could be very unemotional and things could get kind of, cutthroat was actually the term that just came through. And we have, of course, things about to square off with Uranus, which is sharp. It's upsets, and things like that. And that moon, or not the moon, the sun will square off with Uranus around the time of the new moon. So this could be a really nasty. People could be very cold in what they do, how they say it. Again, I warned y'all in the Moon and Sag video, like, it's February and it's about to be a super concentrated Aquarius season. I know I will be a more cutthroat this month than I probably ever have been. And I always mean it with love, but it just never comes across that way. People get really hurt by this, should I say. But I'm Scorpio. So, I mean, I have a Scorpio moon and a Scorpio rising, so I can be very piercing. And so I think, like, there's two ways of looking at this. There's the, being completely done with something, therefore you have zero emotion towards it, which is a good thing. That means you can easily just let it fall away. But there's also not being with the emotion and allowing the emotion to stew in our body and making a decision without processing the emotion, right? Because then we're just like stewing in it and we make a decision. Like, I don't know, that I feel like, to me, that's not a very healthy way to make decisions or to proceed. But if you've processed the emotions and you're done with the emotions and you no longer are even emotionally attached to something, Aquarius is all about detachment. Like, Aquarius looks at something from an intellectual standpoint. This is why, like, psychotherapy and stuff like that did not work for me, because I can intellectualize what I'm going through, right? This is why astrology works for me, and this is why coaching works for me, is because it gives me that responsibility to actually process the emotion, right? Aquarius is detached. It's unemotional about things. It's intellectual about things. And Saturn ruling Capricorn, where this moon is with Mars and with Venus, there's this like I said, it feels like it's going to be very cutthroat. It feels like it's going to be very sharp and very piercing and just people coldly being done with shit. And so, February is going to be that month. It's I feel like if you ever had a time where you should be or want to be authentic and be yourself and do all of the shit, make all of the decisions to make your life so much better, this is going to be the month to do it. I'm not saying that you're screwed if you don't. I would never say that. I don't think that that's ever true. I think that there is a time and a place and a divine timing, and sometimes you're not completely over something, so you got to stick with it. It's like you know it's almost like somebody in a bad relationship. Like if you're in a maybe an abusive relationship, right? And people outside of you are like, you need to get out, you need to get out, but you're not ready to get out because you still feel for that person, right? Like that's what I'm talking about. If you're still feeling for that thing, then a lot. My hands are like too cold to shuffle cards, so I just shuffled them all over the place. All right, well, at least I now have a desk to shuffle them on. Anyway, let's see if I can add some. My hands get really cold really easily. Anyway, you know what they say, cold hands, warm heart. It's just me. I just feel like sometimes people think I'm cold-hearted, and I'm not. I'm not. I just think sometimes you just shouldn't be emotional about shit. But at the same time, like I just said, if you're in a situation where you have not let go of how you feel about it, be with that. It's okay. There's always going to be another opportunity to get out of a situation or a relationship. Because you do have to kind of be with I still care about that person. And, you kind of got to, even if it's a friendship, right? Or a job, like I still care about it, or I still like the money or whatever. But when the time is right, the time is right. And this really could be the time is right for a lot of people in a lot of different situations. So anyway, this could be really interesting. This moon in Capricorn. Of course, you can check out the Aquarius new moon, sun and rising signs. And not only am I talking about the moon in Aquarius in that video, but also Pluto in Aquarius a little bit, because whatever house the new moon is likely, not 100%, but likely where Pluto will be for the next 20 years. So it's something to really pay attention to, where this moon lands for you, what it's bringing up for you. What this whole Aquarius season brings up for you is kind of going to give you some insight into what's going to happen in the next 20 years with Pluto in Aquarius. So we'll see what's up with the tarot. Thank you all so much for being here. I really appreciate you. I appreciate this channel and what it's bringing for all of us. Ooh, we got the Lovers Upright. Miles and Keiko O'Brien. This card is the picture on this card is never accurate to me because it's not about a couple, but it is because if you are the bride or the groom, then the bride to a groom might be themselves, might be their job, right? The groom to a bride could be, and this of course could be your masculine and feminine, and finding like the balance between the two. But your bride or your groom, however that works for you, maybe your job, maybe your friends. It could be you and parts of yourself that you're not willing to love, right? There are, we all have that, right? There, people who don't embrace their shadow, who don't bring their shadow to the table, are people who are like afraid of a part of themselves. They're afraid somebody's going to see how dark they are, right? It takes a lot of courage. This is why Leo is the opposite of Aquarius, is because it takes a lot of courage to love your shadow side, love your dark side. And I'll admit, I tried for years to be like, I want to be a nice person. And I am a nice person. But unfortunately, I'm also that person who says the shit that needs to be said sometimes, and people don't like that. Even though I mean it from like love, like, all of the things. So let's see what oil's going on. So, this is all about self-love, independence and interdependence. This is about like, separating yourself from being codependent or dependent on other people. And I'm not saying you shouldn't, we all need support, but there's a difference between being supported and reliant on another person or entity or however that shows up for you. Let's see what's up with the oils. We got, this looks like lavender. Oh, nope, this is clary sage. Hang on one second. Let me change my clary sage. Balances and clarifies. Yeah. How perfect. Sun trining the south node, sextiling the north node, and Venus trining or Venus squaring the nodes. Yeah, clary sage. I have this oil. I think it smells like tea leaves. I don't know why it does. It smells like wet tea leaves to me. But you can also, of course, use cleansing stones, citrine, clear quartz, those sorts of things. You can sage or Palo Santo, like burn it. Get the use a smudge. That's the word. Those sorts of things. Also, you can do meditations that create a cleansing or calming balance in your body and your mind. And when you do those meditations, like put on noise cancellation headphones, turn off your damn phone, and really be in the meditation. Turn off your TV, turn off the radio, go to a go to a quiet room in your home if you've got other people living with you. And I get that that's challenging. I've lived in situations where finding time and space to myself is like next to impossible. And for me, that becomes energetically overwhelming. I don't like not having like private, quiet time. Anyway, so really be with yourself, and, choose who you're around or who you are with that are supportive for what you're up to. And yeah, so that's the moon in Capricorn. And I will talk to you on the next video. Bye for now.